Two sisters were home alone when their security system suddenly triggered, blaring a loud alarm through the house. Convinced someone had broken in, the pair climbed out of the bedroom window to escape. But when they later reviewed the security camera footage, what they found was arguably worse than an intruder. In one clip, a door that the sisters say they had firmly closed and heard click into the latch appears to open entirely on its own. In another, their Wise home security camera begins wildly panning around the room, as though its motion sensor is tracking something moving through the space. Then comes the most unsettling detail. At around the 40-second mark, a shadow appears to zip past in the reflection of a toaster sitting on the kitchen bench. And then, at the 1:22 mark, it happens again. The same shadow, the same toaster, as though whatever is in the house keeps passing through that spot. The sisters later recounted the experience on camera.
Front door opening on its own. Yeah, that shit was closed. Right. We closed that door.
They were clearly shaken. They pointed out that the house is brand new. The latches aren't faulty. The doors don't just swing open.
And I mean, this house is like brand new. Like, it's not old or like anything.
Yeah, it's not like the latches are like faulty or something.
Everything works.
And yet something moved through their home that night that none of their cameras could properly capture.
The motion capture camera didn't see that shape. And like when it was
how
tracking
could it have
the movement.
Even known that it was movement?
Like, why is it that you see it one time and then in the rest of the footage there's like no, it's picking up on something, but there's nothing there.
What makes this footage so compelling is the sheer volume of evidence. A triggered alarm, a door opening on its own, a camera tracking invisible movement, and a shadow caught in a reflection twice. Each piece on its own could be dismissed, but together they paint a picture that's hard to ignore. So what was stalking through this house that night, and why could it only be seen in a reflection? A Reddit user, Release the Slab, recently shared some deeply unsettling Ring camera footage that was captured just a few miles from their home. The clip, recorded in the middle of the night, shows a thin, naked figure walking through someone's yard. The OP assumed it was most likely someone under the influence of drugs, but admitted they weren't entirely sure what to make of it. There's something about a figure like this caught on camera in the dead of night that gets under your skin. No clothing, no obvious destination, just a thin silhouette drifting through someone's property, as if the rest of the world doesn't exist. What would you do if this was your front yard? Let me know in the comments. A man recording on his Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses has captured something deeply unsettling inside his own home. In the footage, the man is walking through his house when he notices something odd.
What the? I know I just saw her.
What appears to be his baby son standing upright, peering around a corner. He does a visible double take.
I know I just saw her.
When he goes to check on his child, he finds the baby lying down in his bassinet, exactly where he left him.
Yo, am I tripping?
Now here's where it gets truly chilling. If you slow the footage down on replay, you can actually see the child peering around the corner. The fact that this was captured on smart glasses makes it especially compelling. There's no setup, no framing, just a first-person perspective catching something that shouldn't be there.
Yo, am I tripping?
Canadian pop star and model Milo LV was filming a selfie video by the pool when her fans spotted something chilling in the background. In the clip, what appears to be a child's face with completely black eyes briefly materializes behind her. Milo didn't notice anything unusual at the time and only learned about it after fans flooded her comments pointing out the eerie detail. Black-eyed children are one of the more unsettling phenomena in paranormal folklore. Reports describe encounters with children or teenagers whose eyes are entirely black, with no visible whites or irises. Witnesses often describe an overwhelming sense of dread in their presence, and the encounters typically follow a pattern. The children appear at doorsteps or in car parks, often at night, politely, but insistently asking to be let in. While skeptics attribute the phenomenon to contact lenses, urban legend, or simple misidentification, believers point to the consistency of witness accounts spanning decades and multiple countries. Whether this footage captured a genuine anomaly or just a trick of the light and camera angle, the image of a black-eyed child appearing uninvited behind an unsuspecting person is enough to make anyone uneasy. People have been discovering something deeply unsettling about AI voice chat systems, and it's leaving many with more questions than answers.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
Spotted by NightGod333 on Instagram, the trend involves prompting an AI voice assistant to repeat the phrase "Jesus is Lord" over and over again, sometimes 50 times or more.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
At first, the AI complies normally, but as the repetitions continue, something begins to change.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
The voice becomes increasingly distorted, warping in ways that don't sound like typical audio degradation.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
Listeners have described the sounds as resembling moaning or growling. Some say it sounds demonic.
Jesus is Lord.
The AI appears to hesitate more with each repetition, as though something is resisting the process. The distortion builds gradually, and by the end, the audio has transformed into something barely recognizable.
Jesus is Lord. This is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
There's almost certainly a technical explanation. AI voice models can struggle with extreme repetition, and the audio artifacts could be the result of the system's neural network degrading under an unusual prompt. When these models are pushed outside their normal operating parameters, strange things can happen. But that hasn't stopped the clips from going viral. For many viewers, the rational explanation does little to diminish just how unnerving the audio actually sounds. Whether it's a glitch or something harder to explain, the result is genuinely chilling.
Jesus is Lord. This is Lord. Jesus is Lord.
TikTok user Mandalodi came home to find a bouquet of flowers scattered across the floor and decided to check the security cameras.
This is supposed to be identical to this, but I walk into this shit on my floor, so I'm like, what the right? And like, you can like see, like if I wanted to, it's not just gonna fall out, like this stuff is in there, you know?
What the footage showed left them baffled. The uploader demonstrates that the flowers are firmly placed, not something that would just fall out on its own. You'd have to physically pull them to remove them. Videos like this are compelling because they remove many of the usual objections. This isn't a shaky handheld clip or a dramatic recreation. It's straightforward security camera footage showing an object moving when it shouldn't. The uploader's genuine confusion only adds to the credibility.
And like you can like see, like if I wanted to, it's not just gonna fall out. Like this stuff is in there, you know?
Was this the work of an unseen presence, or is there a mundane explanation for what this camera recorded? Deep inside Kazakhstan's National Academic Library sits a manuscript that sounds like something out of a Gothic horror novel. Written in Old Latin and dated to 1532, this 330-page book was subjected to laboratory testing by the National Medical Science Centre in Astana. The results confirmed what many had long suspected. The cover is made from real human skin, specifically taken from a person's back. The manuscript has been linked to a northern Italian notary named Petrus Puardus, and here's where it gets truly unsettling. This isn't some forbidden grimoire or occult spellbook. The small portion that researchers have managed to decipher suggests it may have been nothing more than a financial record. The first readable pages contain information about payments, loans, credit, and mortgage transactions. That contrast is what makes this so deeply disturbing. After 5 centuries, this grotesque object may have belonged not to a sorcerer or secret society, but to a man who dealt in money, debts, and contracts. A book bound in human skin used for something as dry and transactional as lending. Somehow, that makes the whole thing feel even colder. And the mystery doesn't end there. Only around 10 of the 330 pages have been deciphered so far. The rest remain unread, meaning no one yet knows the manuscript's full purpose or why it was given such a macabre binding. What kind of person binds an ordinary ledger in human skin, and what secrets might the remaining 320 pages still be hiding? People are noticing an eerie detail in recently released footage connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's sparked a wave of speculation online.
Okay, so what is that? You guys, I'm brightened, sharpened, and zoomed in, and I'm going to share a screenshot with you guys.
In the background of the footage, viewers have identified what appears to be a mysterious figure with an unusually large head.
Now, at first, I thought, well, maybe that's a person and that's something behind their head. No, it moves at the end. That is the entire head.
The shape is indistinct but clearly out of place. Some have suggested it could simply be a person with a towel wrapped around their head. Others aren't so sure.
So this is zoomed in, brightened, and sharpened. Hold on, I'm going to give you an even closer image. If you want, you can screenshot this one.
Given the conspiracy theories that already surround the Epstein case, the footage has become a lightning rod for speculation. Some viewers claim to see an alien-like silhouette. Others describe it as a shadow figure. The ambiguity of the image has only fueled the debate, with people projecting their own theories onto what they're seeing.
That is the entire head.
Still, the context matters. When strange details surface in footage connected to one of the most controversial cases in recent history, people are going to look closely, and some of them aren't going to like what they find. What do you think is lurking in the background of this footage? Instagram user QueenLock1989 from Louisiana was on a live video call when something strange happened right behind her.
You know, that's funny because my family asked me to move back when I got out of the military, right?
During the call, a mysterious light appears in the room, moving in a way that doesn't seem to match any obvious source. The woman notices it in real time and her reaction is immediate. She's clearly unsettled by what she's seeing. The clip was captured live, meaning whatever occurred was witnessed by everyone on the call at the same time. That detail makes it harder to dismiss as a simple edit or after-the-fact manipulation. Unexplained moving lights are one of the more commonly reported paranormal phenomena. Witnesses frequently describe orbs or streaks of light that appear to move with purpose, changing direction or hovering in ways that don't match reflections, headlights, or other conventional explanations. Skeptics often point to lens flare, dust particles catching light, or insects flying close to the camera as likely culprits. But the uploader seemed genuinely shaken, posting about it online and saying it was just one of many strange occurrences at the location. Was this a genuine anomaly caught live on camera, or could there be a perfectly ordinary explanation for what this woman witnessed? A viewer named Evan sent in this next piece of footage, and it's one of those clips that's hard to shake. According to Evan, his neighbour had been telling people for a while that she was seeing ghosts around her apartment. Nobody believed her. His wife is friends with the neighbour's niece, and eventually the niece shared a video that changed the conversation. In the clip, recorded on what appears to be a home security camera, an incomplete figure can be seen moving from right to left at the very beginning of the footage. It's not a full-bodied apparition, it looks more like a partial shape, translucent and indistinct, drifting across the frame before disappearing. Evan himself said he doesn't know what to make of it, but for a neighbour who'd been insisting for months that something was in her apartment, this clip might just be the evidence she was looking for. Is this finally proof that something is haunting this woman's home, or is there a simpler explanation hiding in the footage? Quick reminder, if you have your own scary videos you'd like to submit, head to slaphamsubmissions.com and follow the prompts. The link is also below. A Ring camera has captured something moving across a yard at a speed that's difficult to explain, and it doesn't look like any animal viewers can identify. In the footage, a dark figure enters the bottom left corner of the frame. Going frame by frame reveals more unsettling details. The movement itself is one of the strangest aspects. It doesn't move like a person running, it doesn't move like a dog or cat or any common animal you'd expect to see on security footage. There's something unnatural about the way it propels itself across the yard, almost gliding. Some viewers have suggested it could be a large insect close to the camera lens, which can sometimes create the illusion of a much larger object moving at high speed. Others believe it's a wild animal, perhaps a coyote or large cat distorted by the camera's night vision. But a significant number of commenters don't think either explanation fits what they're seeing. What do you think raced across this Ring camera's field of view? A known creature, a camera trick, or something else entirely? A woman named Elle shared a deeply unsettling experience with TikTok creator Kelseyik. It happened shortly after the COVID lockdowns ended.
She was kind of in a place where she just wanted to get back out there into the world, and she wanted to make new friends, form connections, all that good stuff. Since she does want to be anonymous, she did give me the backstory on this, but I'm going to be vague because I don't want any identifying information to be out there.
Eager to reconnect with the world, Elle reached out to a loose acquaintance she'd never been close with. The woman, referred to only as T, lived about 2 hours away and had recently connected with Elle on social media. T invited Elle and her husband to a birthday party for T's fiancé, but made a point of saying not to bring kids.
Hey, I'm having a birthday party for my fiancé up where I live, 2 hours from where you live, and I would really love if you and your husband could come, but it's not really going to be a kid-friendly event, so I would not bring your kids because I'm not going to bring mine.
Elle assumed it would be a loud, adult-only event. She and her husband arranged for the grandparents to watch the children and drove out for the night.
Yeah, let's get out of the house. Like, we're going to drive up there for this party. We'll just drive home that night because neither of them drink. So she was like, yeah, it'll be fine. The kids can stay with grandparents and let's just go have fun.
When they arrived, the location wasn't an event venue or even a proper house. It was a shack sitting alone in the middle of a field.
Her and her husband pull up, and she says when she pulls up, this is not like an event place or like an event hall. It's the middle of nowhere, you guys. She said it's in the middle of a field, and it looks like a literal just shack. Just a shack.
Only 8 people were there in total. Almost immediately, one of the men became aggressive toward Elle's husband for no apparent reason before backing down. The atmosphere felt off, but things eventually settled. Nobody was drinking. There was nothing unusual going on. Just a group of people sitting around a fire. Then T invited everyone inside. Under the lights, Elle finally got a clear look at the other guests and noticed something deeply wrong.
And Elle says that she starts kind of like looking around at everyone who is in this room, and she's finally getting like a good look at everyone who's there. And she says that what she notices is that there is something wrong with their eyes.
Every single one of them, all 6, had no color in their eyes, just whites and solid black irises. T's fiancé caught Elle staring, smiled, blinked, and his eyes returned to a bright blue.
T's fiance looks at her and his eyes are completely black, and she kind of goes wide-eyed, and then she feels like in that moment he realized that she had seen and noticed his eyes, and she said that he smiled at her and blinked and opened his eyes and they were normal again.
Shaken, Elle quietly told her husband they needed to leave. She went to say goodbye to T alone. T seemed perfectly normal, leaned in close as if to hug her, and then whispered directly into her ear.
Do you enjoy violence?
Elle pulled back. T's eyes were completely black again. T glanced toward Elle's husband and asked, "Has he ever hit you?" Elle said no. T paused, said, okay, looked down, looked back up, and her eyes were normal again.
And like look down like this, look back up, eyes completely normal again.
They walked out. Elle glanced at T's fiancé one last time. His face shifted. His eyes went black. They got into the car and drove away in total silence.
She didn't talk to anybody else. She grabs her stuff. They got in their car. They hightailed it out of there. Like they were gone.
15 minutes passed before either of them spoke. Then her husband said it. Did you see their eyes?
Neither of them had talked about exactly what the other had seen up until that point. And she said that her husband said, "Did you see their eyes?"
Neither of them has been able to explain what happened that night. No drug they're aware of could cause eyes to switch back and forth like that. Elle and T haven't spoken since.
Elle and her husband have no idea what they experienced that night or who or what they were around. But she did say that her and T have not spoken since.
Were these people something other than human, or is there a rational explanation for what Elle and her husband witnessed that night? If you want to see more scary videos just like this, then hit subscribe and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary video compilations. In the autumn of 1934, a strange and deeply unsettling phenomenon took hold of an apartment building on Gascon de Gotor Street in Zaragoza, Spain. It began with eerie laughter echoing through the walls, terrifying the residents and quickly turning an ordinary home into the center of an international mystery. Over the next 2 months, the building's occupants, especially the Palazon family and their young maid, Pascuala Alcocer, were plagued by a disembodied voice that seemed to speak, mock, and react to the people around it. Known ever since as El Duende de Zaragoza or the Goblin of Zaragoza, the case remains unexplained. On the morning of September 27, 1934, residents were startled awake by a sinister burst of laughter that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. After several minutes, it abruptly stopped, leaving behind an uneasy silence. The strange activity soon centered on the Palazon family's second-floor apartment. The sounds appeared to come from the kitchen walls, especially around the stove and chimney. Before long, the phenomenon developed into a voice. At first it sounded like a young girl, but over time it shifted into something far more guttural and menacing. The voice seemed especially fixated on the family's maid, Pascuala Alcocer, repeatedly calling her name and laughing at her distress. As rumors spread, neighbors and curious onlookers gathered outside the building, hoping to hear the voice for themselves. What began as a private terror soon became a public spectacle. The voice did not just make noise. It responded to questions, taunted the residents, and appeared fully aware of what was happening around it. The growing panic eventually brought in the police. When officers arrived, the voice openly mocked them, shouting, "Cowards, you've called the police." That chilling remark only deepened the mystery and convinced many that this was no ordinary prank. A psychiatrist, Joaquin Jimen Oriera, examined Pascuala closely, suspecting she might somehow be producing the voice herself. He proposed that she was unconsciously projecting it through a mix of hysteria and subconscious ventriloquism. Pascuala strongly denied this and insisted she was as frightened as everyone else. To test the theory, investigators took her away from the building. If she was the source, the voice should have stopped. Instead, it continued even while she was elsewhere, undermining the psychiatrist's conclusion and leaving investigators back at the beginning. As the case grew more serious, masons, plumbers, and carpenters were brought in to inspect the building from cellar to roof. They searched for hidden passages, prank devices, or anyone who might be concealing themselves within the structure. Nothing was found. At one point, a mason approached the Palazon family's stove and suggested measuring the chimney. Before he could begin, the voice interrupted and declared, "You need not trouble, the diameter is just 6 inches." When the opening was measured, it was found to be exactly 6 inches wide. The accuracy of the statement shocked everyone present and made the case even more disturbing. Police tried questioning the voice directly. "Who are you?" they demanded. No answer. "What do you want?" Still silence. When asked if it wanted money or a job, the voice snapped back, "No." Finally, someone cried, "Good God, man, what do you want?" The reply came immediately, "I'm not a man." By November 1934, the story had spread far beyond Zaragoza. The London Times reported on the case, turning the Goblin of Zaragoza into an international sensation. Authorities escalated their efforts, evacuating the building, cutting electrical and telephone lines, and stationing guards nearby. None of it stopped the voice. It reportedly became more aggressive, even threatening members of the Palazon family. Despite all efforts, no physical source was ever discovered. For the building's residents, the constant attention and fear became unbearable. Arturo Grijalba, the young son of the building's owner, grew especially exhausted by the chaos. One day, he reportedly said to his father, "Let's go, Dad, I'm tired and I want to sleep. This whole thing is crazy." Then the voice answered for what would be the final time. "No, not crazy, little one." After that, it simply stopped. Just as suddenly as it had begun, the haunting ended. No one ever determined why. In time, the case faded from public attention. The original building on Gascon de Goto Street was eventually demolished, and a new one was built in its place, aptly named Edificio Duende, or Goblin Building. For Pascuala Alcocer, the ordeal had lasting consequences. Accused by police, experts, and others of somehow causing the phenomenon, she withdrew from public life. Years later, in old age, she gave an interview about the haunting. Asked where she believed the voice had come from, she gave a brief and haunting reply: "From within the wall." The Goblin of Zaragoza remains one of the strangest paranormal cases in modern history. Investigators searched the building, questioned witnesses, tested theories, and drew international attention, yet no convincing explanation ever emerged. Was it a prank, an unusual psychological event, or something genuinely beyond explanation? Whatever the truth may be, the voice that echoed through that apartment in 1934 still lingers as one of the world's most unsettling mysteries.